53096. 53096, our text line, and you can email Neil at 96fm.ie. Just a few papers before we get going. 12,000 hit as online ad brokerage shuts its office here in Cork. Around 12,000 Irish investors face difficulties in getting their money back after internet advertising brokerage experienced a backlog in processing payments. Now, this is, of course, Banner's broker. You may have heard Neil talking about this over the last couple of years, and we're getting quite a few calls about it as well, but he is across the story, if you like. Neil did invest some money into it and know more about it than I would, I guess. I've never really understood the whole mechanisms behind Banner's broker. But yes, if you have any comments on this, if you're affected by the delay in payouts from Banner's broker, you can give us a call, 1850 715 996. They have pulled the plug on their Irish operation and placed a limit, $250 limit, weekly limit on the amount investors can take from their accounts. It has around 12,000 Irish investors, some of whom paid thousands of euro to buy advertising space with Banner's broker acting as an intermediary. Paul McCarthy, who's chatted to Neil before, who until last month had a contract with the company to provide his training and support services here in Ireland and in Cork, said he has been inundated with calls from worried clients. I'm getting a lot of hassle at the moment, he says. It's pretty crazy, and the last couple of weeks have been hell. The company is now directing Irish clients to contact his consumer support centre in Belize in Central America. Efforts by the Irish Indo to contact that centre were unsuccessful. They do say that it is just a delay in payouts, that you haven't lost all your money, and they have placed a limit on how much you can get out. As I said, I always found it difficult to understand what Banner's broker was really about. It's hard to, get money for free in this life, and that's what it seemed to be. People kind of like paying in money and getting a lot of money back out again. Now, Paul McCarthy was at pains to point out to us and to Neil on the air that it wasn't a pyramid scheme. You weren't obliged to bring in other people below you to pay into a scheme, and then thus you were making more money. This was a slightly different thing, but as I say, it did seem possibly too good to be true, but we'll keep an eye on it anyway. As I say, if you have experience with it over the last couple of months, you're welcome to call us, 1850 715.
FM.ie. Access all areas
on Cork's 96 FM.
If you're talking, I mentioned this at the top of the programme actually. John is online on the same topic. John, good morning to you.
Hi, Colm. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. I mentioned Banner's broker at the top of the programme, coverage in yesterday's and today's paper regarding the payouts involved or lack of them. You've been waiting a while to be paid out by Banner's broker, is that correct?
That's right, John. I'm waiting 6 to 8 months money.
Okay, and because a lot of people, and I know, Neil has done quite a bit on this on the air because he actually invested himself. Neil never got paid out. In other words, he wasn't getting a weekly or monthly wage from this. Were you?
No, nothing at all.
Okay.
No, when you invested, you were promised money, refund, but on a weekly or a monthly basis.
Yes, that's what my understanding is, that you could kind of be paid a wage from this.
Yeah.
You never took that wage?
No, nothing. I've submitted for money on 7 or 8, 9 occasions, and everything is still pending. There is nothing coming out of Banner's brokers. Okay, now,
just about to make the point, Neil did take money out on a number of occasions with his card. I believe he got a card, but he was never signed up to a kind of a wage system there where he's getting regular money. So you're waiting 6 to 8 months for this, yeah?
I got that card as well, Colm.
Yes.
And shortly after I get in the card, I have to go through a very long process to get the card. MasterCard pulled out. So that card was invalid straight away. Then they told us to submit more information for another payment scheme. Mm-hmm. Did all that. Went to the office to meet Paul McCarthy and his sister Yvonne McCarthy.
Mm-hmm.
They told that everything was above board. I asked a lot of questions. And Yvonne McCarthy said to me that I was a non-believer.
A non-believer?
She told me I was a non-believer. She brought her brother in to speak to me about it.
Strange use of language.
Yeah, I was a non-believer because I was asking too many questions.
Mm.
So I said, she told me what money she was taking out of it. Her brother was getting money. And to stick with it, everything was above board. Lovely office there and everything like that.
Sure.
So I stuck with it. I submitted my my support tickets again for more money. And I'm here now 7 or 8 months later, still waiting.
And how much, John, did you invest first day?
I invested €1,000.
Okay.
And topped it up with maybe 500 more after.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
Members of my family invested, friends invested. You know.
Mm.
Now it looked above board. You know, they sold it very well. Paul McCarthy sold it very well. Yvonne McCarthy sold it well. But,
and that 1,500 you invested, you never had to bring friends and family into the thing?
No.
Okay.
No.
Were you ever asked? Were you ever asked to bring people in?
No, I was never asked. No.
Okay. Did you encourage people to get involved?
I spoke about it, with friends.
Yeah.
And as it was going along, on your account, you can see you're making money.
Yes.
And when I got my card, the first card,
yes,
a couple of friends, on the strength of me getting the card and submitting for money, that money was, on the way.
Yeah.
They invested as well.
Yeah, it's tempting. I mean, when people see, for 100 or 1,500 that you could make. How much, by the way, was in your account, or how much are you technically able to access?
Well, at the moment now, I can access $1,200. Right, I'm waiting maybe on $1,000 to come out of it. But on my account, I have on my €1,500,
Mm-hmm.
I have 20,000 now.
Yeah, that's
supposedly made.
Okay.
You know,
so you've got 20 grand, dollars or euro?
Dollars.
Okay, you've got $20,000 there in your account that you should be able to access, or that is technically yours.
Well, technically, you can access half of that at any one time.
Okay. Yeah, you see, it's a confusing thing. It's a confusing scheme or process which goes along, because you don't get nothing for nothing.
No.
I just find is if you invest this money, how come you invest 1,500 and all of a sudden it's 2,000 or it's 20,000?
Well, Colm, see, at the start, this was a very cute system. At the start, they had coordinators that would run the account for you.
Yes.
They were investing your money in advertising.
Yeah.
Which is above board.
Yeah, well, that's just like an investment. That's like if you bought if you bought shares in not a bank, but I mean if you bought shares in oil or whatever it is, yeah.
Yeah, and they were running that for you, so you didn't have to do too much, really,
Yeah.
But then, as the months went on, they cut down on the coordinator working for you. They wanted you to work with yourself then. So a lot of people, like myself, wouldn't be good in computers.
Yeah.
So you will find it harder and harder. And what's after happening is a lot of people have just given up.
Yeah.
So the money they had invested, some of them invested 400, maybe €500. They just said, right, cut your losses, good luck and thanks.
So forget about it. Keep it. Keep the money.
Keep it. Keep it.
Mm.
But there's guys that I know one fella that has been in banners for the 16, 17 months. He has 100,000 in his account.
Wow.
Right? And he's good at computers, and he has been working himself.
Yeah. So he's managing his own account. Yeah.
Yeah. He's managing his own account.
Mm-hmm.
And he can't even get money out of it. And he has been in it from day one.
Yeah, it certainly seems to be a problem. I mean, they are saying, Paul McCarthy has been saying, and it's in the press, that this is just a delay. I mean, that people will be paid out, but it's a delay.
Colm, this is supposed to be an investment scheme, right, that gives you rewards and refunds, right? If you go into any bank and you have money in your account, you should be able to access that within 5 days, right? Yes. They tell you, if you submit a ticket, within 10 to 14 working days, you will be paid. Mm-hmm. Right? That's the first thing that they have broken down on. I'm here now 6 to 8 months. Like $400, €200, right, was the first ticket I submitted.
Yes.
8 months ago. Just to see, could I get a few pound out to show my friends, hey, yeah, lads, I'm at this show.
Yeah. You want to just convince yourself as well that you could get paid out. Yeah. And were you paid out that?
Nothing.
Nothing. Okay. All right. So you've got, so forget about your 20. You can't even access the original money you put in there, yeah?
Not a penny.
Were you told at the start that you may lose your initial investment?
No.
That was never mentioned. Because, I mean, I know with the banks and with shares and options or shares and stocks, they do say that it goes up and down and you may lose the money. And
yes.
if you're investing into a pension, they say, well, this is a high risk, you may lose, etc. You were never told this type of thing, well?
Never told that one way or another. And even the meetings that they were running in hotels and places, you were never told that. Did you think even before you went in that it was too good to be true? Yeah, you did. You thought that, yeah. Yeah, definitely. You're there and you think, this is another Ponzi scheme, the pyramid scheme that was there long ago. And there was friends went in months before me. Yeah. And, they'd show me the account and said, look, there you are, lad. And you're seeing it there in front of you. Oh no, absolutely! Because I saw Neil do it, and I saw Neil's account going up every day. it would be edging up, and you'd be going, "Oh God, do I have $1,000 myself here? Yeah, am I going myself? I'm going to be last here on this. Like everyone else is making money except me. But that's what they do. They play on your greed. It's human nature. Absolutely, it is greed, and it's kind of because it is different. I mean, a pyramid scheme is like you need to take in 5 people, or you need to take in 10 people. It's very basic, and this is how it works, and they pay you and you pay in and you move up the chain. But this is quite different, because you've never been asked to bring people in. No one. Yeah. That convinces you then that it's above board. Yeah. But even people that are involved in computers, like selling advertising. It's legit. It's legit, Okay, listen. Thanks for. I have to take news, John. Thanks for taking a call. Do keep us up to date. I mean, we've spoken to Paul McCarthy this morning. Banner's broker. They've terminated his contract and closed the Irish office, so he can't, comment further this time. So I mean, he has. He's no longer with the company. So. Are you going to go through? I believe is Canada is their head office, and then they also dealing out of Belize. Are you going to try and? Are you going to take this further? Well, I spoke to my solicitor there one day. He's a good friend of mine, and we spoke about it. Yeah. And you can try, he said, but the process will be so long. They'll send you through different countries to try and get your money back. I'd say it's just gone. Okay. Look, thanks for taking our call and keep us up to date, will you? I will indeed. No bother. Good luck to you, John. Bye now. Thank you for that. Will people ever learn there is nothing in life for free? We were talking about Banner's broker before the break. If you have an opinion on it, or indeed if you're waiting on a payout, give us a bell. Hi, Colin. I'm also in Banner's broker for about a year. I went in with €500. And I haven't seen a penny either. All you're told is that there's a delay in payments. To be honest, I think it's a disgrace. I know one guy who put in €7,000. Wow, that's a big investment. Isn't greed a terrible thing? I have no sympathy for anyone caught in this scam. A fool and his money are soon parted, says Bill in Banduff this morning. Come on, Colin. Everyone who joined Banner's broker knew it was a gamble. Well, anybody with a brain anyway. I joined with €500 9 months ago, and if I get anything back, good for me. And if I don't, well, it's a risk that I took and I'm aware of. If you're not in, you can't win, is my philosophy. I'm still staying positive, though. Looking for a payout, says Alice in Cork. Thank you for that, Alice. If you good attitude to have, I think. And I know when Neil put the money in, he said, look, if you have the money, if you have a spare €500 or spare €1,000, whatever it may be, invest it. But, if you don't have it, don't invest it. Don't take it off somebody else to put it in. Don't borrow it for somebody to put it in. And that's where you're turning up problems. So, I mean, I think Neil certainly did say that. So it's probably a good motto to have, Alice, a good way of doing it. But a lot of people very, very angry regarding the payouts or lack of them from the Banner's broker, because I think people feel as well that other people have made money on it. They've seen a lot of people withdrawing a lot of money over the last year or two, and they kind of feel, well, how come I'm out? How come I'm out €1,000 or €2,000? Where's my money gone? Why can't I get a similar kind of dividend from the process? As I say, if you have experience on that, 1850 715 996.
Morning from 6 on Cork's 96 FM.
Numbers range between 12,000 and 15,000 people who are out of pocket with Banner's broker. 1850 715 996 is our phone number here. Martina's on line 1. Good morning to you, Martina.
Good morning, Colin. How are you?
I'm in good form. Did you invest in Banner's broker?
I didn't, but I'll tell you this much for nothing. I was very tempted to after listening to a travel rep when I was on holidays.
Okay.
The confirmation, or the chat came out of nowhere. We were just talking about how she was living now in Portugal and stuff, and she brought up Banner's broker and how she had invested and all that. And I was kind of a bit cynical about pyramid schemes and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I had vaguely remembered McCarthy's name listening to Neil last year sometime.
Yeah.
So I said that to her, and she said no. She said, I got 30,000. I've just cashed in $30,000. And I have so much more, and all this, and that was like the first week in August that she was promoting that.
Okay,
so she was very, I mean, she kept on about it for about a half an hour. How good they were and how brilliant they were, and all this, and how it was legit, and how it was computer based and advertising and everything. Because I wouldn't have had a clue what it was about, only because she filled me in so well. So when I was driving this morning, I heard your thing, and I went, "Oh, I must ring them."
Yeah, well, I mean, this is the. You're making the point that it was very recently they were still promoting it, if you like.
Yeah.
But I mean, I suppose, in fairness to Banner's broker and to Paul McCarthy, and we've spoken to Paul this morning, he's no longer with the company. I mean, they have terminated his contract. He hasn't walked away. They've terminated his contract, so he can't speak for them anymore. But these are just people promoting Banner's broker off their own back. He's not asking people to promote it.
Yeah, no, this did. I totally take that on board. But like she was saying, like that, put in a couple of hundred, So I just feel, it's kind of
So
I mean, how many other people was she talking to, even in that particular week?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, is there a bonus for bringing people into the scheme? Do you know?
I think she said. Yeah, I think she said that there's so many people that you get, so that she would be saying it to a lot of other people, I would imagine.
Yeah, so it's it's not a pyramid insofar as you don't have to bring people in.
No,
excuse me, you don't have to bring people in, but you probably get a bonus if you do.
You do get a bonus, from what I can remember of our conversation. She was saying, the more people that, because I was saying, are you recruiting people? And she said, I'm just telling people that it's such a great scheme. And I was coming away from the conversation going, oh, that's great.
Yeah,
skeptical,
And this lady was a travel rep, so she was obviously meeting a lot of tourists. Obviously,
absolutely.
So a lot of people there, might have disposable income. It's a nice, I suppose. There's a, there might be some. She might get some benefit from meeting a lot of people like yourself and getting them involved. She said that she took out $30,000. Is that correct?
Oh, she did. She had cash. She said, and I said, Did you get the check into your hand? She said, oh God, yeah. And I'm after applying for more, and she was saying, it was a great return, and that, she hoped to retire on it,
Yeah, I know. I see a lot of people as well have that idea where there is like a good pension pot.
Yeah.
Because as we know, I mean, a lot of people's pensions have been decimated over the last while. So I mean, it does sound it sounds really it sounds like
when you hear legitimacy and when you hear of office and when you hear internet, you're kind of going all of the above. I mean, you don't want to be sending your information on a computer or any of your details. But when you hear of an office and the person's name and you can contact him in Cork and she had done her homework knowing that I was even from Cork,
And the she was encouraging you to get involved with Banner's broker in Cork.
Yeah.
Okay. So and was she from Cork and?
No, she was from up the country.
Oh really? Okay. But I suppose the Irish head of the Irish operation was Cork, so I suppose it would be obvious that you'd encourage that. But she knew you were from here, did she?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
She would have had those details before we even talked to her in any case. But I mean. The Cork accent when you're on holidays, doesn't go astray.
It's it's quite obvious. But I do.
I'm very proud of being Cork, so I wouldn't have been hiding that under a bushel either.
And why would you? Martina? I mean, a lot of people, this scheme, it's again, it's not a pyramid, but it could be seen as a get-rich-quick scheme.
Yeah, I mean, if I was going to invest a couple of hundred, I would have only been expecting a couple of hundred back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, I didn't have that disposable income, with all this and everything. Yeah. So I didn't, luckily enough, have it to invest. So,
but it's an interesting way to kind of promote it. That it is relying on people's, it's human nature and as greed. They're relying on people to kind of look at the profits that can be made.
You're relaxed on holidays, and you're thinking, "Oh my God, I'm after paying on holidays. I'm broke."
Yeah.
So when you hear of on holidays of a rich scheme like back home, you kind of go, oh, maybe now I'll be able to get my holiday money back,
Okay.
you know, for towards next year's holiday kind of a thing. So
Yeah, I suppose. Good point. Listen, Martina, thanks for taking a call this morning.
you're very welcome.
Good morning to you. Approached in Portugal back in August to invest in a banners broker. As I say, if you have any experience on that, 1850 715 996.
Nick Richards in the morning.
On Cork's 96 FM.
Tomorrow from 6.